Yeah, what can I do for you, Rod? You just tell me, what can I do for you?
It's a very personal, very important thing. Hell, it's a family motto. Are you ready, Jerry?
I'm ready.
I want to make sure you're ready, brother. Here it is. Show me the money.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, yeah. Cat. I've been on the come up, running to the ones go. Boy, I got that one up, hustle when the funds low. Sundown to sun up, all I want is the cash. Now homie, run me the stash, put the ones in the bag. Now count up, count up, count up, count up. I'm talking 1 milli, 2 milli, 3 milli, 4 billy, 5 billy. I'm illy. I've been on the come up, counting money till my thumbs hurt. No Birdman, bitch, but I'm a stunner. Just watch how you run up. I keep a couple gunners. I've been grinding all winter just to flex all over summer shit. Wrist cold when I fall through. Rose gold to my arm, boo. In and out of my city, but come whenever I call you. Who gon' love me more than when I'm stacking out on tour? Them hoes that made it past security, they knocking on my door. You gon' be there when they gone. Show my love by getting more. Hustle so you ain't alone. You won't leave me, that's for sure. I'm talking Benjis, Franklin's, all these hundos on my floor. I just broke a couple bands, believe me, I've been going hard. I'm tipping bottle after bottle, swerving model after model. Who won't cash? That's the motto. Spend it like I hit the lotto. Yeah, I'm loving my life. I know that I ain't shit without you. Actions speak louder than words. They broke cause they just talk about you, huh? I've been on the come up, running to the ones go. Boy, I got that one up, hustle when the funds low. Sundown to sun up, all I want is the cash. Now homie, run me the stash, put the ones in the bag. Now count up, count up, count up, count up. I'm talking 1 milli, 2 milli, 3 milli, 4 billy, 5 billy. I'm illy. Money bag after money bag, I'm the man now. Play the cards that I was dealt and I ain't need no handouts. Fresh on every set, get respect, mama out of debt. Got a new connect, we the best. Homie run the check, wifey got a new bag, new house. You mad? We just doing us, feeling wavy, fuck a do-rag. This that no stress flow. Bobbing on my ex. She don't love cash, kiss my ass, baby XO. Thank you for that line, Mr. West, but I'm next though. Hey, you me the sad bitch, I'm blessed, sipping XO. For the love of money, I stay fucking hungry. I parted ways with the kitchen, that just wasn't for me. Every show they love me, now I'm showing love back. They ain't taking nothing from me, so I throw a couple stacks. You win them in your town, have some fun, blow a bag. Fuck with me when I'm around, trust me, shorty, I'll be back. I've been on the come up, running to the ones go. Boy, I got that one up, hustle when the funds low. Sundown to sun up, all I want is the cash. Now homie, run me the stash, put the ones in the bag. Now count up, count up, count up, count up. I'm talking 1 milli, 2 milli, 3 milli, 4 billy, 5 billy. I'm illy.
Yay, yay. What's good, everybody? How y'all doing? What's good? Hope everybody's doing all right this evening. Welcome to the Alphabets Football Show. I am your host, Marcus the Alphabets, where we take you on about a 2-hour long journey to discuss our favorite sport in the whole wide world. But first things first, I'd like to introduce my lovely co-host. I call her Miss Brooks Willis because she's die hard. Mona, what's good?
Oh, not a lot. Just looking forward to this weekend.
I just got a question for everybody out there. Have y'all ever seen beef jerky come in a heart-shaped container? I just, if you've never done that and somebody surprised you like that, like I'm a guy, so the balloons, man, flowers, man, but beef jerky,
You just have to show them your Christmas present.
I wish I had brought it up in here with me. I'll probably end up showing it before the show's over. Check my story. When I saw it, I was like, I got Mona sent me. Mona did me like Forrest Gump. Mama always said life was like a box of chocolates. I thought it was some. I thought it was some
See,
chocolate.
Dwayne's done said he hasn't, so you're gonna have to go get it. Just
Okay, hang on. I'm gonna go get it real quick. Mona,
Yeah.
keep it going. I'm gonna show it to him real quick.
um, his big package he hasn't gotten yet. Every year I try to outdo myself with what I send him. I try to find something unique, something, off the chain, off the wall. And I basically had a care package kind of thing for him to.
Me and Johnny, we was like
Then I found something.
me and Johnny, we was like peas and carrots. Mama always said. I'm sorry. Hang on a second here, y'all. So I go to the door. They ring my doorbell. Now, if you went to your door, your door, and somebody sent you this, what is your reaction? Your reaction is, Valentine's Day, right? Like chocolate. And here we are, 2 weeks from Christmas, and they got a beef jerky.
Open it up, show it to them.
Because they'll slide up out of here. But I'm thinking, I'm opening it up, and it's like chocolates, and it's damn beef jerky. They got like all these assorted.
Name some of those beef jerkies.
You got root beer. I don't know about that. Sesame, pepperoni, orange, habanero, teriyaki, Cajun style, barbecue season habanero, wine. I mean, I'm thinking it's straight up like chocolate. So I'm thinking, okay, this is what are we at Valentine's Day? So if you've never gotten a die-hard care package or a Christmas basket or something like that, you are missing out. So yeah, so it's incredible, outstanding, man. But I hope everybody's doing good. Look, we're near the end of the regular season. We got some big games this weekend that we're going to talk about. Make sure if you like football, like and share. Get everybody's ass up here. We got some things to discuss. We have some huge games this weekend that they're going to have a lot of implication. I think you have some games that will determine the MVP race. I think you got some games that will determine the offensive rookie of the year. This is a very meaningful weekend. So get up in here. We got a few things to discuss. And
I love it.
Go Steelers. I see you. Go Steelers. We're going to talk about that game. I am.
Hey, Dwayne, wait till you see the big gift.
I'm gonna. Yeah, she tried to send it, but there were some technical difficulties. But when it gets here, I'll probably make a reel on it. I will make a reel on it.
Preset, if you ever meet somebody and maybe her name is Frances and they call her Fran, you can re-gift it to them.
How about this, Fran Drescher? If you're out there listening, get holler at your boy. The nanny, y'all remember the nanny?
I remember.
Fran Drescher, holler at your boy. Man.
Oh my God, her voice used to drive me insane.
I
love her. I love her as an actress, but her voice just.
Yeah, her voice is pretty bad, but them outfits. Anyways, those mini dresses. But anyways, so welcome to the show. Make sure y'all like and share. Get up there on YouTube. If you're not subscribed to our YouTube channel, get up in there and leave some comments, and we'll try to answer things as best we can. Mona, let's do this.
I can't even laugh like her.
What was that? What was the boss's name? Mr. Sheffield.
Yeah.
Mr. Sheffield. She have the fishnet. Okay.
All right, we're gonna go ahead and start the slides.
Yeah. Sorry about that, Mom. I'm sorry. I got a little bit distracted.
I'm gonna do a quick recap because we got quite a few news and notes. Thursday night game last week. Packers, Lions, and I'm gonna tell you something. I watched that game.
Hmm.
I felt there were some really bad missed calls
Yeah.
against the Lions.
Yeah.
They should have given Green Bay this game.
As the season goes on, and the Packers have a good team, and they've gone out and they've made a lot of moves.
Yep.
And especially the Josh Jacobs pickup was just outstanding.
Hey, Melissa. Hey,
But
Wayne and Joseph. Tag you buddies. Hey, Dalton. Good to see you, sweetheart.
get up in here. I still think that the Packers are missing a number one wide receiver, and I know there was a lot of talk about them having all these guys.
I agree. I think
Wicks
they're
and
solid twos. They're good solid twos.
a bunch of twos. Jaden Reed and Wicks.
And there's something else I think they need to.
What's that now?
I think there's something else they need. They need another elite edge rusher.
I think so too. Rashawn Gary, I agree with you, Mona. They've tried. I like the kid Edgerrin Cooper, the rookie. Watched him a lot at Texas A&M. But I'm with you, Mona. I just think as the season goes on, and when you start getting to those really big games that determine, you need playmakers on the defensive side of the ball. And I get it. We talk about the elite edge rushers, Mona.
They don't grow on trees, though. That's just it.
They don't grow. The T.J. Wattses, the Myles Garretts, the Trey Hendricksons, the Micah Parsons, the Bosa's.
Smith.
They don't grow on trees, And those guys, they usually go pretty high in the draft. So congratulations to them. I mean, they're kind of.
They are missing Alexander. I agree, Dalton.
Yeah, so Jair Alexander having a nice shutdown corner, that helps too.
All right, so let's talk about one of the first games, the 1 o'clock games. Steelers, Browns. Look, this is how I saw that first game going until the damn
snow, the blizzard. Till the blizzard came.
When the blizzard came. But you know what? We're a northern team and we're outside team. We should have been able to play in that shit just as well as Cleveland Browns did. But let's just keep it a buck.
Yeah.
Jameis Winston had a hell of a game in that game.
He did.
That man was throwing passes that you would not ever see in the damn blizzard.
Yeah.
But he kind of shit the bed in Pittsburgh.
And that's pretty much the story of his career.
Yep.
You have to be consistent.
Yeah.
Anybody can go out and have a great game. The thing that makes the elite guys are the guys week in and week out that they don't have to have a great game. I don't think Matthew Stafford last night had a particularly great game in a rainstorm, but they're just solid. They don't do things to hurt their team. And you need
better in the second half. Well, actually, probably around the fourth.
That's what I'm saying, though. Keep them in the game. Keep them in the game. But you can't have these roller coasters where, you're 0 for 8 and then you go, 10 for 11 in the next few. Because, like I always say, you don't get credit for putting out fires that you started. Oh, look what he did in the fourth quarter. I get it. He had a great fourth quarter, but he played like shit for 3 quarters. You know what I'm saying? So now he's trying to dig his way out of it. So that's been kind of the story of Jameis Winston and why a lot of people kind of like are in and out on him because that's just kind of like the story of his career.
He's still probably the better quarterback that Cleveland's had in a long time.
Yes, I totally agree. Yes, but that's not saying much. That's saying that that's like saying I'm the best ice skater in Ethiopia. That's a great accomplishment, but that doesn't. Marcus is the best ice skater. Yeah, but you're from Ethiopia. And we don't have winners here, so that's not really saying much. The Cleveland Browns have been a disaster at the quarterback position, and they're kind of even still now kicking themselves with getting rid of Baker Mayfield. Yeah, the Deshaun Watson thing.
Look what Baker's doing. Look, at some point, you got to stop and look at all the aspects of a football team from the head coach down, from the general manager down.
Yeah.
And what do they still have in common when they had Baker Mayfield? They still got the same head coach. They still had the same damn general manager. And at some point, you got to start looking at these guys. They should be on the hot seat.
That too, but when your front office gives away all of your draft picks for Deshaun Watson, look at the package that they gave up for Deshaun Watson. I think that can you imagine? Think about this, Mona.
Well, no, because
Hang on. I want you to think about this.
Pittsburgh would never have done something like that, so I can't.
Now imagine this. Imagine Will Anderson Jr. on the other side of Myles Garrett. Because that's what the Texans got for Deshaun Watson. Can you imagine Will Anderson Jr. on the other side of Myles Garrett? Can you imagine Tank Dell in their wide receiving core or Nico Collins?
Yeah.
I'm just saying those are the kind of players that they weren't able to get because they went and gave up everything for Deshaun Watson. So that's I still think Stefanski's a good coach, but
let's go to the Cartoon Network channel and talk about the Saints and the Giants.
Look, it's just look. The Giants are probably they might be the worst team in the NFL. We're going to talk about this in a little bit. Between them and the Raiders, you're probably looking at the two teams that are the front runners for the number one pick. So it's just bad.
Let's go to the Jets Dolphins game. That was a little more interesting game.
Aaron Rodgers keeps finding ways to lose games. I had high expectations for Aaron Rodgers. I think we both did, Mona. And I even said at the beginning of the season, but with this caveat,
right?
If Aaron Rodgers is 75% of himself, I didn't expect him to be 3 or 4 time MVP Aaron Rodgers in Green Bay. Those weren't. I had realistic expectations.
Well, I think we said it was middle of the road.
And guess what?
Coming back from that injury. And I think the injury has affected him much more. But I also think, I don't know that he was actually ready to come back from that injury.
Well, I think what it was is as you get older.
Yep.
The things that you could get away with when you were young, you can't. He didn't used to ever come to training camp. Well, guess what? You're 41 years old now, and you probably needed to be at training camp, building camaraderie and building timing with those young wide receivers.
The chemistry is huge.
And that's what it is. And then you've lost your fastball and you've lost some of your mobility because of the lower leg injuries. And it just, you look at all of those mitigating factors, and it's like, you're not the same player anymore. I think he's pretty much done. I really do. I look at him.
I think so. They did an interview and they asked him, if he was thinking about coming back next year, and he said, yeah. But I didn't see the gusto that you usually see with Aaron Rodgers, the prima donna. You didn't see that Aaron Rodgers anymore. So let's go ahead and move on. The Falcons game, and did anybody take, except for Atlanta Falcons fans, did anybody take the Falcons to beat the Vikings? Because I said this. This is me talking to myself when I made that pick, and I didn't even hesitate. I took the Minnesota Vikings.
Mm-hmm.
Because look, you're coming back to where you have lived for how long was he with Minnesota?
I think like 6 years, or something.
But
anyway, something like that, yeah.
This team knows you front and back. This defense knows you front and back. Now, granted, they have a new defense coordinator,
Flores,
who is one of the smarter defensive coordinators that I have ever seen. Yeah. And you think he didn't do his homework on Kirk Cousins? Well, yeah, duh. I had no doubt that the Minnesota Vikings, the Purple People Eaters, was going to absolutely have Falcons for supper.
And Sam Darnold. We talk about some of the other awards, MVP. We talk about the MVP to nauseam. We've talked about the Offensive Rookie of the Year, a little bit the Defensive Rookie of the Year. Is it fair to put Sam Darnold in the comeback player of the year award conversation.
Well, I always felt
Consider,
to me,
consider
I always felt like comeback player of the year was for players who got injured the year before and came back and had a great year the following season.
but it's not. It's for people who, because Joe Flacco won it last year. He came back and they picked him up off the street. He was sitting at home in retirement. And you get this guy who a lot of people kind of have written off. He was in that 2018 draft with Baker Mayfield, with Lamar Jackson, with Josh Allen, and for him to come out and have the type of season that he's having,
I had to post this. I'm sitting here dying laughing when I read it. You know what, Dwayne, you'd still get by with it, but at some point you're gonna have to go, hey, and like fold your hands up like they're like maybe they're physically wrong with you, and you might get by with it then. Or if you're in a wheelchair, maybe you might
could even run for Secretary of Defense. But anyways, or president. But yeah, so I think that I've been very critical of Sam Darnold, but I think that we need to start talking about him at that comeback player of the year, because he's just he's kind of resurrected his career. After the years with the Jets, where he's talking about
they really like him in Minnesota.
They do, and if I'm the Vikings, Mona, we talked about Russell Wilson, pulling him to the side and seeing if you can't work out something with him. If I'm the Minnesota Vikings, you have JJ McCarthy still on his rookie deal. Okay. Yep. Me personally, if I'm in the front office, I'm telling Sam Darnold, look, can we work something out? We took a chance on you. You seem to have a good rapport with Justin Jefferson and Jordan Addison, and you got.
But if he takes him to the Super Bowl and wins, he's getting a new contract.
That's what I'm saying, though, and that's why I'm telling him now. I'm pulling him to the side now. Hey, can we work out something? Maybe I don't know, $40 million a year, something like that. But if he goes to like the NFC Championship or the Super Bowl, he's gonna be one of those guys talking about that $55 to $60 million. So
then again, you might be grateful that Minnesota took a chance on him and gave him that opportunity, and he may actually take a deal.
That's true, but again, if he were to go there, every team that's quarterback star, Las Vegas Raiders. If I'm the Raiders and I see that, I'm giving him a call. Hey, come on over here. You got to strike while the iron's hot.
Maybe get that deal cut prior to NFC Championship
before the playoffs. I'd be trying to do that before the playoffs. And then you look down there, and just a thrilling game with the Rams and the Bills. Josh Allen, look, I have Josh Allen as my MVP favorite right now. What more can you do as a player? I talked about this on Coffee Talk. 6 total touchdowns, throws for 3 touchdowns, runs for 3 touchdowns. You gotta look. The man is playing out of his mind. He's playing out of his mind. But again, Dwayne had put something up in the group the other day.
I was going to do this. I'm sorry. Hey guys, I am me. He hasn't got me cloned.
Not yet. Not yet.
He might have something happens and I were to pass away, because he's going to miss all them care packages I sent him.
I'm the absolute best. But Josh Allen was playing out of his mind. But Dwayne had put something up in the group the other day that kind of stuck with me, and it was his buddy. He does a lot of TikTok work. It's like, we're not going to apologize for winning. And I know there's a lot of people out there that have said some derogatory thing about the Kansas City Chiefs. They're losing ugly. And basically what his friend said was,
they're winning ugly.
Look, I would rather win ugly than lose pretty. And the Buffalo Bills lost pretty. Josh Allen is doing all of this stuff. And guess what? It doesn't matter. When you look over there in that L, he played a great game in the 13 seconds game. And guess what?
I think they have to start looking at GM, head coach, they have to start looking at the common denominator on why they lost that game.
And see, for me, I don't think it's the general manager. I don't look. He's
Well, no,
going out.
I'm not particularly talking about them. I'm just talking about like with other teams. We talk about, what coach is on the hot seat, and sometimes your general manager needs to be on the hot seat.
Yeah.
And like your general manager needs to be on the hot seat and fired from his own damn team that he owns.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm getting at.
Yeah. Well, I got the name right here. Let's all say it out loud. Sean McDermott. I think he limits them. I think he limits them. I think he's the weakest link on the team. And I talked about it on Coffee Talk. We've seen it time and time again with him in big games making stupid decisions. Why are you sitting in a zone when Puka Nacua is just Matthew Stafford is carving you to pieces? You don't think like after a while, okay, we're going to play some bump and run man coverage, some press coverage. You got these guys backed off 6 or 7 yards off of Puka and Cooper Kupp. Why? Why are you doing that? Like it's not working, and we're not going to change. We're not going to change. We're going to keep doing, and it's just like it does. So Matthew Stafford like, okay, that's fine. I'm just going to just carve you to pieces. So they really, if they get to the playoffs and they have another monumental collapse, they've had the close losses, the 13 seconds game. They've had the blowout, the games where they we want to play at home. The Chiefs always get to play us on the road. Okay, well, you get a home game against them, you lose. You get a home game against the Bengals, you lose. After a while, you got to kind of start saying, okay, maybe it's our coaching. Maybe we need to look at that. So we'll see what happens. And then Kansas City, again, finds a way to win. End of the game, their all-world kicker, Harrison Butker, he's out. And the backup kicker goes and points it for a field goal and wins the game. They just find ways to win. They just you could call it lucky, you could call it it's rigged, and I've heard all of this stuff. I heard somebody, oh, they're just so lucky. Well, there's this old saying that goes, I find the harder that I work, the luckier that I get. They're prepared for everything, and they have just lucky bounces, but it works.
Let's just keep it a buck here. No matter whether you like Mahomes or not,
gotta respect.
You gotta respect the talent that he brings to that team. Yeah. And when it comes to crunch time, he doesn't panic.
Yeah,
he don't make a lot of mistakes. Yeah, he's thrown some interceptions this year. Trying to help his team win. And he's been pretty damn successful if you look at the record.
Last year, wide receiver core led the league in drops, and they're still win the Super Bowl. I mean, I think that just says everything for it. But, we'll see what happens. We got the playoffs coming in a few weeks, and we'll find out. Talking about a team finding ways to win. Well, here's one that found a way to lose. My Cowboys, they go out and they, played a pretty damn good game.
I thought it was a good game. I watched the game. I thought it was a good game. You
got to find a way to.
Quarterbacks are backup quarterbacks for a reason.
Yeah, Cooper Rush. And it is funny to me because even some of my Cowboys fans are like, Marcus, man, I'm telling you, man, we should just start Cooper Rush.
He is not better than Dak Prescott.
He's not better. Backups are backups for a reason. Can he come in and win you 4 or 5 games? Sure. But if you're telling him I'm going to build my franchise around this guy, he's not that. And you just see, again, how inactivity this offseason, not going into free agency, picking up players, it came back to bite you in the ass. Not getting a number 2 wide receiver.
Getting a damn running game.
Actually, Rico Dowdle's had 2 100-yard games in a row.
I get that. That. With those 2 100-yard games, Derrick Henry would have probably had 200 yards.
Probably so. And then here's the other thing, too. And then you brought back Zeke, and then you didn't even start Rico Dowdle till now.
Right.
If you would have started Rico Dowdle earlier in the season when you should have been when he was fresh, you probably win a couple of more games. But they block the punt at the end of the game. All you got to do is, I feel bad for the kid Owari, but to me that's a preparation on a coaching level thing there, and we're going to see with Mike McCarthy. I would suspect that he would be on the hot seat, but we'll see. You just never know with Jerry. So those are all your games, news and notes. What we got?
Okay, we'll start out with Mr. OBJ being released by the Miami Dolphins. He's got his radar up. He's probably his whatever the guy that helps
his agent.
Probably already talked to Kansas City. He's probably talked to the Detroit Lions. He's probably talked to the Minnesota Vikings. Put him out on the other side of Justin Jefferson.
Well, no, they got Addison. He's been balling out, but I can see
Pittsburgh. Somebody told me earlier today that they seen him in Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
I don't know how true that is. I don't know. I think that he's a body that I think his career's done, but he's going to hang on as long as he can to make the money he can. And you know what?
He probably try to get another ring. And
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, because he basically
Baltimore. I mean,
he got released from Baltimore. Remember, he played for Baltimore a couple of years ago, and they just let him go. I mean, this guy, I have never really seen a guy who has lived off of a catch. You remember that one-handed catch he made against the Cowboys?
When he played for the Giants.
They lost that game, by the way. It was against my Cowboys, against Brandon Carr. And I have never seen a guy get more just more chances because of one catch. He played one half in the Super Bowl when he was with the Rams.
Yeah,
he played one half, and he had a good half, but he couldn't even finish that game. And Cooper Kupp went off and cooked Eli Apple the rest of the game. But the guy, he just can't stay healthy, and then when he does get healthy, I just think a lot of the lower leg injuries that he suffered in his career is just caught up to him. I think he's 30-something years old now. He's just not the same player, But he'll try to hang on for as long as he can and try to jump on a contender. I expect that. But if I'm a GM and if I'm signing him, it is a 1-year vet minimum deal because I'm not marrying this guy, So we'll see what happens. We'll probably see something in the next week or so, and as soon as we find out, we'll let y'all know.
Okay, so we're going to talk about this one.
Look, this is why when a player is young, that you have to mentor him. I'm all about mentoring players. Kadarius Toney, whether people believe this or not, Kadarius Toney is a 2-time Super Bowl champion.
Right.
He's a 2-time Super Bowl champion. But he is he is in the truest sense of the word, a knucklehead. He's
I have to play this though, since it was my game. I have to play the video of what he did. This is why they cut him. This is why they cut him. Okay.
Just a knucklehead, goofball, cartoon, buffoonish, just doing stupid stuff. Go ahead.
So if you guys didn't get to see this during the Steelers game, if you didn't watch it, here you go. This is what happens.
We were away. There was a flag thrown for taunting as Kadarius Toney had been jawing with Skoranek. Oh my goodness! Now he's got more explaining to do on the sideline. That is recovered by the same guy who threw the football at. Oh, Skoranek. You're exactly right. We were away. There was a flag thrown.
And what that just what it just
with Skoranek.
I was talking about this.
Now he's got more explaining to do on the sideline.
I'm sorry. I have to play the second time.
I was talking about this on Coffee Talk, and when I said that I don't like being around people who cannot control their emotions.
Yep.
This guy, he's like a dog chasing a car. Just the first thing, the first instinct, the first thing to do, and that's the kind of stuff that loses you games. That's what when you have a guy who can't control his emotions, can't control himself, stay disciplined. You know, and I one of the things I like, I had posted up the video in the group a couple of weeks ago, was Mike Tomlin. He was yelling at one of the players, and he goes, "This is bigger than you. While you're arguing and fighting, the clock is running, and we're trying to make a comeback." And the guy, he's like, "Listen to me, look at me." This is a guy I can't, you know. Mike Singletary, he went on a rant and rave one time when he was with the 49ers as a 49ers coach. He goes, you know, I think it was Vernon Davis. He goes, "I can't win with guys like that. I would rather put 11 guys on the field that I know that I can trust than put this guy on the field that I cannot trust." You cannot trust Kadarius Toney. You can't trust. We saw last night a guy in the middle of a game when his team needs him, he just walks off the field. "I'm not going to play." We saw that with Antonio Brown. You know, his last game playing with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. They're in a close game. They're playing the Jets, I think. He's trying to get a bonus.
He was one, I think, like so many yards away from getting that bonus.
From getting a bonus. He's like, Brady's talking to him. "Hey, stay with me. Stay with me. We'll get you there. But, you know, I'm trying to spread the ball around. I'm going to get you your catches." He just takes his pads off and walks off the field. I don't want people like that on my team because I can't trust them. In a close game, it's 17-14, and we're trying to go down, and the guy just walks off the damn field. I don't want a guy like that on my team. That's like I was in the military. You're in the middle of a battle, and the guy just, "You know what? I don't want to fight no more. You guys are on your own," and just walks off the field.
I will be honest with you, and this is my fault on the George Pickens hamstring injury. I don't think he's injured. I think that Tomlin is a head coach that he keeps everything internally.
Mm-hmm.
He does not do a whole lot of talking about any of his players. He didn't do a whole lot of talking about Antonio Brown when AB was showing his ass like he was. I think this is more a smack on the hand to George Pickens. You either grow up or we're going to ship you out next year. You won't be in Pittsburgh.
That's it. Kadarius Toney, what coach is easier to play for than Andy Reid?
Yeah.
Andy Reid is the easiest person to get along with. And even a guy like Andy Reid's just like, "Get this guy out of here. Get him out of here." Whether he's making boneheaded plays or not catching the ball that's bouncing off his face mask, and they get a pick six and lose to the Lions last year. You know, he leads the team in drops, or he's online arguing with the fans online. He's just he's an immature dude, and I don't know at this stage if you can change him, because like after a while, people get to a certain level in their life, and that's just who they are. He's a goofball. That's what he is. I wouldn't want him on my team. And Kansas City, could they use a wide receiver right now? They don't have rights for the rest of the year. He knows the system. If I'm Kansas City, I'm not bringing him back.
Yeah.
I'm not bringing him back. You get an opportunity to play with the Browns. They needed wide receivers. And they just said, "Get this guy out of here, man. Get him out of here." So I say good riddance. And if I'm a GM, I'm not putting my job on the line for this dude to try to sign him.
I want to address this. No offense to single moms, but some of these players are raised by young single mothers, children raising children, and you have results like KT. Look, I'm going to play a little bit of devil's advocate here.
Okay.
In this day and age, you cannot whip your children, or you're going to jail.
I get that. I think what Dwayne is saying is, and I'm a firm believer in this.
Father figures. I absolutely do.
Young men need father figures. The young men need guys. My dad was a very hard man. He was a very hard man, and I know for a fact. Looking at some of my other family members, who shall remain anonymous. If I had been raised in the situation that they were raised in, I wouldn't be the person I am today. I am a firm, Dwayne, I get totally what you're saying. there are certain things I can't teach my daughter. That goes with women too. Like, you need to go see your mom for this. I mean, I'll be supportive of you, but this is something your mom needs to show you. There are certain things that only men could show young men about toughness, about a lot of stuff.
Right.
So I don't know what his I don't know what his upbringing was. I really don't know. But there seems to be something missing there. And definitely at the very worst, there's some maturity issues. So
I think this is my opinion on Kadarius Toney. Just listening to some of his interviews in the past. I think he's I don't think he's all there in the head. I think that he has been a pretty good athlete up to a certain point, but I think that the elevator doesn't go to the top with him. Yeah. And I think he's kind of a silly, kind of clownish kind of guy. Yeah. I mean, everybody talks about how good natured he is. Everybody talks about how he gets along with everybody. He's good natured, but he just does stupid shit.
But that's what I'm saying. And you have to catch these guys young. Look, like I always say, Bonnie, you've heard me say this a million times. If everywhere that you go, there's an issue. Maybe it's not you had issues at Florida. You had issues with the Giants. You had issues with the Chiefs. What better organization right now is there to groom players than the Kansas City Chiefs?
Right.
You look at the Antonio Brown situation. You played for what I call a cornerstone franchise with stability at the ownership, stability at the coaching position, a quarterback who feeds you the ball and who's made you into an all-pro. And you can't focus. And to me, that's some things there. If everywhere you go that there's a problem, maybe it's not everybody else. So we'll see what happens. I wouldn't touch him with a 10-foot pole, me personally. Speaking of somebody who I have a lot of respect for, DeMarvion Overshown, and it just breaks my heart because the kid was really kind of starting to make progress and kind of maybe be the second best player.
Dalton said so. Also, crazy thing, Kadarius Toney was a first-round pick.
That's what I'm saying, and that's what hurt. And see, when you miss on first-round picks, and a lot of times people, they go, well, he's got first-round talent. But I also, when I'm looking at you, I'm not just looking at your physical talent. I'm not just looking at your physical. This is why they do the interviews with the players, because I have to also know, if I give you a few $1 million right now, Mona, I'll ask you, you look at his skill level, you look at a George Pickens skill level, and then you look at the top paid wide receivers in the league. You look at his skill level, he has elite wide receiver skills. You want to give him $35 million like Justin Jefferson?
No.
Do you see what I'm saying?
He is playing for a contract this year.
That's what I'm saying. Would you give him? Would you pay him like CeeDee Lamb? Would you pay him like Justin Jefferson? Would you pay him like the way that Jamar Chase is about to be paid? No, because now I'm giving you money, and money only makes you more of what you already are. So if you're a goofball, now I'm married to you, and I have guaranteed money in your contract. But when I make your contract, I have to put clauses and stuff in there because I don't know what you're going to do next.
Well, I mean, think about it. We got rid of AB. We ate some money because he just got a contract.
That's what I'm saying. I'm going to be very cautious before I give him money. I wish Overshown a speedy recovery. I like this kid.
I don't think he's going. I don't with ACL, MCL, and PCL. With those kind of tears, he's not. I don't even know if he makes it back next year.
And he did it. He did it last year too. He tore his ACL last year too. So this is like, and for a guy, an explosive athlete like him, you look at the lateral movement, just the foot speed, that chase and hit type mentality that he has. I just, even if he comes back, I don't know if he's the same player. It starts robbing you of, we just talked about Odell Beckham Jr. I think that's what happened to him. You start having those lower leg injuries. You're just not the same player. So we wish him a speedy recovery. I really like the kid. I like him coming out of Texas. So we'll see what happens to him. Speedy recovery to him. What we got next? probably the biggest news of the week. I would have lost money on this because I would have bet any amount of money about Bill Belichick going to the going to college. But this made me, and I talked about this on Coffee Talk the other day too. We've seen this before with Bill Belichick. I'm a historian, people. 1999, Bill Parcells quits, leaves the New York Jets, and the very next day, the New York Jets hire Bill Belichick. And he was the coach for the New York Jets for, you know how long? Ready? 1 day. The New England Patriots offered him the job. He quit. He quit on the Jets and he left. And I think you're looking at the same type of situation. And you have to go back and you have to look. Always follow the money and look at the numbers. So, Mona, pull up the next slide here. I had to go do some research. And if you do some research, a lot of times it'll give you the answers that you need. Now look there. Now looky here. Who is at number 2? Who's at number 2 for the most wins all time by NFL head coach? What is 347 minus 333? What is that? 14 games? 14 games?
No, 11, right?
7 minus 3 is 4. 14 games.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
14. He's 14 games. So even if he were to go to the NFL and go 7 and 10 for the next 2, 7 wins and 10 losses. If he were to go 7 and 10 for 2 straight years, he would tie Shula's record. I do not believe in my heart of hearts that Bill Belichick wants to coach in the. I don't think he wants to coach college football. One, you're not a college coach. Mona, a few years ago, we did a piece called College Days. You remember that, Mona? We sat down, we worked on it. And the gist of the video, if you get a chance, go back and look at it. It's in the videos, in the channel, and in the archives. Basically, we were talking about.
I'm going to post it. I'm going to post it in the group.
Okay, make sure you post it. I also believe that works with a NFL coach trying to go down to college. The tactics that you use for these players, you're not going to. One, these kids ain't going to listen to you because you're 72 years old. You're old for an NFL coach. You're damn sure old for a college coach. And especially now with the NIL, with these kids that are getting, I'm what? I'm third string? F you, coach. I'm entering the transport portal, the transport portal, and I'm out of here. I'm out. I'm not going to sit up here. You sit over here, young man. You're not playing. Okay, that's cool, coach. And in 2 weeks, I'm entering the transfer portal and I'm leaving here. Why would I go to North Carolina? When I think of North Carolina, when it comes to athletics, I don't think of them as football. I talk about basketball. If I am a star football player, I am not going to play at the University of North Carolina. One, because it's not really that great of a program. They just got rid of Matt Brown. But also, he's 72 years old. So if I'm signing with them, how long is he going to be there? He's 72 years old. And I know, looking at this record here, with the record, I know that any NFL job that opens up, bye-bye, I'm out of here. So I think that this is just it's in his
contract.
It's in his contract. He got it in there that if any NFL job opens up, he can leave. I would not be surprised if he doesn't coach one game for the North Carolina Tar Heels. He also has stipulations in his contract that his son would take over for him. I think what this is a job opens up, he takes a job, his son's got a job. Or his son can leave and go with him because he was going to take. Ace
says he disagrees. He's going to bring excitement just like Deion left Colorado. No, he ain't.
No, he's not.
No, he ain't. For one, we know he did horrible drafting receivers. But as a head coach at 72, no.
Yes, I'm not.
Look, are the same age. Nick Saban walked away from Alabama.
Yes.
He could have stayed in Alabama coaching to the day he died. Because it's too hard to coach college.
Kids.
It's totally different coaching college kids.
He lost his mind when Brady was his quarterback. He was going off. Can you imagine some 17-year-old pimply-faced freshman? He will lose that throws 3 or 4 interceptions. He will lose his mind.
Yeah.
He will lose his. He would literally lose his mind. And these kids now, they're not going to sit up and wait around. One, he doesn't know how to run an offense, as evidenced by his last 2 years with the Patriots. And here's the other thing with you. You made the Deion Sanders comparison. You know the difference between him and Deion? One, he's 25 years younger. And two, Deion brought his kids with him. He brought his kids with him. And Deion appeals more to the younger generation. You're talking about a guy who walks around with gold chain, sunglasses, and he's got this swag. And then you got a 72-year-old guy who didn't like speaking to the press when he was a pro coach. You're basically the face of the franchise of the program when you're a college coach. We see more with college coaches than we do with NFL coaches because they got to go out there and go do all the talking. They got to do all the talking because you're basically the GM. Joe Paterno, he basically was the king of Penn State. You know, Nick Saban, the king of Alabama. Belichick just kind of sat back and didn't really say too much. He hated speaking to the media. So I just think it's a bad situation. I wouldn't be surprised if he doesn't coach a game. Good news, Hall of Fame wide receiver Randy Moss. It was like this morning. He announced he's cancer-free as of now. He had bile duct cancer.
He had liver cancer. It's the same thing. Basically.
Okay, we'll just say liver cancer. And he, one of my favorite players ever. Just an incredible player. Just an incredible player. Going through some stuff, and there was a lot of news going around, and his son was saying that people were lying. And he came out today and made a video and said that he did have cancer and he's cancer-free now. So I love watching him commentate. I love watching him play. I think he's one of the top 3 greatest wide receivers to ever play, and some people think he's the best. When they make terms for you in sports, you got mossed. You got mossed. They're basically talking about when somebody says that you got mossed, you know what that means, right?
One of my favorite receivers to watch play.
You know what it means when you got mossed, right, Mona?
Yep.
You got that you just got embarrassed because he put his hand up. And by the way, just for the record, Chris Carter wasn't as fast as Randy Moss. But next slide, just inside joke. Inside joke. It's inside joke. I had somebody argue with me and tell me that Chris Carter was faster than Randy Moss. But anyways, who will finish with the number 1 overall pick?
I think it's going to be the Giants because I think the Raiders could luckily win a couple games. I don't think the Giants have a chance, snowball's chance in hell of winning another game. And I was thinking too. I was thinking. Let's say that let's go hypothetical for a minute, Mona. Okay.
The New York Giants. Let's say the New York Giants get the number 1 pick. Would it be out of the range of possibilities? Now we see some quarterbacks out there. You got a couple of quarterbacks on your team that are on 1-year deals. Sam Darnold's on a 1-year deal. Would you draft Shedeur Sanders number 1, or would you draft Travis Hunter number 1? Put Travis Hunter, make him play wide receiver, and put him on the other side of Malik Neighbors, and get a guy like Sam Darnold to come in and be your quarterback.
Sam Darnold ain't going back. He's not going to go to the Giants.
Okay, I'm just saying, like, is there any possibility that you would give up the number 1 pick and not get a quarterback and get a guy like Travis Hunter instead? A guy who can play on both sides of the ball. And by the way, he's going to have to pick a position. There's no organization that's going to let him play cornerback full-time and wide receiver full-time. It's not going to happen. We'll see. I think it's the Giants. Me personally, I would rather play for the Giants. If I'm a quarterback, I believe Malik Neighbors can be There were some people, I didn't believe this, but when we were doing our shows, we were doing our mock drafts and stuff, and there were some people that said that Malik Neighbors was better than Marvin Harrison Jr. I don't know if I believe that, but he's pretty damn good. And if I'm a quarterback, I want to play with a guy like that. And then you're playing in New York. If you're playing in New York City, you draft Hunter as a cornerback. I'm with you, Blaze. I would draft him as a corner because that's the other big thing. Because once he gets to the combine, they're going to be like, okay, you're going to be a corner or you're going to be a wide receiver. And I mean, there's been players that have gone to the combine, and they tell them like, look, bro, like Mona, you know all about this slash with Cordell Stewart. You know, it's like, okay, what position is he going to play? You're not playing quarterback. We're going to move you to wide receiver. Okay, then we'll play you. We'll play your wide receiver. You're going to be a punt returner. You're going to play a little bit of running back. So, to make a long story short, who you sticking with the Giants, Mona?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna stick with them too. Although the Raiders are pretty bad, they're really bad, and I think Antonio Pierce gets fired at the end of the year, and maybe Dable too. We'll see. So we'll see what happens. We still got like 3 more games left, and so we'll see what happens. All these people out here, see. I like to pull stuff out so y'all can see because a lot of times people just be and they don't really be watching stuff because they're all in their feelings. You gotta get out of your feelings, folks. Giants will finish with the number 1 pick. Okay.
Hey, Travis.
What's up? What's up, Travis?
Good to see you, guys.
Here is the record against teams, and everybody's like the Kansas City Chiefs. They're fraudulent. They did that, but look at this. It's here. We like to put things out that you can see because everybody doesn't read regular books. Some people, you got to give them picture books so they can understand it. You know what I'm saying? You got to give them stuff that they can see. This is the record against teams that are currently in the playoffs. And really, it's not that accurate because right now, the Los Angeles Rams would be in the playoffs after last night. Okay? So that would mean
it doesn't matter how they got the wins. A win's a win.
In the end, that's all that matters. That's it. You can say, you know, people used to talk crap about Floyd Mayweather. Oh, he just runs around. And guess what? In the end, they don't give a shit. You know what they care about in the end? 50 and I won. You played to win the game. And you know, Dwayne, like the video that you put up in the group with Mr. Purnell, you know, you can have your ugly loss. You can have your ugly loss, and I'm going to take my your pretty loss, and I'm going to take my ugly win. I'm going to take my ugly win because now I get to sit there. I'm the number 1 seed, and I get to sit back and rest and sit up in the hot tub while y'all go out in the freezing cold and go beat each other up. So this is it right here. Now a lot of this is going to change this weekend. We're going to talk about the game and make our picks, but here's where we're at right now. And actually, Buffalo is 2-3 because now the Los Angeles Rams are in the mix. And guess what? You play another game against the Lions this week. And I'm not saying that you will. If you lose to the Lions, you're 2-4 against playoff teams that are currently in the playoffs. So I'm not saying you're going to lose. We'll make our picks here in a minute. So I just like to put stuff out there so you can see because sometimes people, I don't really think that they be doing their research. What we got next, Mo? So I think you have to start looking at players, you know, that are getting towards the end of their careers. I do believe, you know, you look up there at guys that are first ballot. I think if Patrick Mahomes retired today, if he came out and had a press conference today, he's a first ballot Hall of Famer. I think if Travis Kelce retired at the end of the year, I think he's a first ballot Hall of Famer. I don't know right now. I would have to move Lamar Jackson off of that.
He will get in.
I think he would get in 2 MVPs. I think that would definitely get him in, but I don't think he would be a first ballot because I think you also need that his playoff record and then not having a Super Bowl. And of course, Aaron Rodgers, whatever you may think about him, he is a jackass. He's a smirky dude. He's at the end, but I think that he and Mona, I know you got a Chris on.
I'm waiting for him to retire so I can change his socks.
Yeah. I honestly, and I'm not just saying this as a Cowboys fan. I think Zach Martin's a first ballot Hall of Famer. I think Zach Martin's one of the greatest. I think he's one of the greatest guards to ever play, and I think Trent Williams is a first ballot Hall of Famer. I think he's one of the greatest left tackles that's ever played.
I'm sorry, but I think Tyreek Hill and Henry both will probably be, and Henry doesn't have any Super Bowls as of yet.
Yeah,
but I'm just saying the things that he has done since he's been in the NFL. Absolutely, I think he gets in. He may not be a first ballot. I think he'll end up being a first ballot myself.
I just think with Henry playing for the Titans all those years, and they didn't have a lot of playoff success, but he did what he was supposed to be, and he's one of the only.
Thank you, Ace. Mike Evans is for sure a Hall of Famer.
We were just
there's no great, but not Hall of Fame. He is definitely Hall of Fame.
Me and Mona were just talking about that, Ace. I think you definitely have to put Mike Evans up there. I don't think he gets the respect that he deserves. And I will say this too: if Matthew Stafford goes far in the playoffs this year, especially considered the way that they started with the Rams with a lot of injuries and stuff they had, I think he's. If he were to win another one, I think he would get in because he but it's just those years with the Lions. They just Diggs is Diggs a Hall of Famer? And see, I used to have these arguments with people, and people used to say, if you got to sit and pause for a second and debate whether a guy is a Hall of Famer, he's not a Hall of Famer. Right. But if I just say like certain players right now, if I say I'll tell you another name that needs to be up there. These are quarterbacks up there. A first ballot. Another guy who's a first ballot for me is Von Miller. I think Von Miller needed to be. I would take Lamar Jackson off and I'd put Von Miller up there. I think Von Miller right now. I think he's like top 15 in sacks. He's a Super Bowl champion. He's a multiple time. And that's my criteria for Hall of Fame. First ballot: Pro Bowls, All Pros, Super Bowl stats. And he's got all of them. So I would probably put Von Miller up there as a first ballot. And if Lamar Jackson retired today, would he be in the Hall of Fame?
No.
I don't think he'd be. Now I think with Mahomes having 3 Super Bowls and he ain't even 30 years old, I think if he retired today,
definitely first ballot.
Yeah. So
Him and Kelsey both are first ballot.
No doubt about it.
I don't even doubt that a bit.
Yeah. And I really do think that. I think that Trent Williams is a first ballot too. Yeah. Trent Williams and Zach Martin.
I think Martin is too. So
yeah. Tyron Smith, he just missed so many games, man. He was great when he was healthy. He just couldn't stay healthy. So we'll see. 50-50 chance. Christian McCaffrey, Devontae Adams, yeah. Devontae.
They're not.
And see the thing with Devontae, this year really hurt him because I thought this year would be, playing for the Raiders. Him leaving the Packers is the worst thing that he ever did. It really is. And for Diggs too, just forcing his way out of Buffalo. Buffalo was the best thing that ever happened to you. When he left Buffalo, I was like, dude, like You've had the most targets of any wide receiver the past 4 or 5 years. You're not going to get those targets in Houston with Nico Collins and Matchy and Tank Dell. You're not getting those targets.
Ace says to take Lamar off and put Tucker in.
Justin, if he keeps, he's going to make it, but Justin Tucker, not to be confused with Justin Tuck. Retire after this year, bro. Retire after this year. So that's just a little something just to get you thinking. We here at the Alphabets Football Show. We like to get y'all to thinking a little bit. What we got next, Mona?
Hey, Tito, what's up?
T. Lokester, happy belated birthday to you, man. So here's the 4 finalists for the Heisman Trophy. Dylan Gabriel from from Oregon. Just for the record, just throwing this out there, Shedeur Sanders has more touchdowns and more passing yards than Dylan Gabriel. Just putting that out there. Travis Hunter, Mr. All World.
I didn't know Travis Hunter's winning it.
He's just running away with this. And look, Ashton Jonty. You talk about a generational type back, and this is why I used to get so mad. Rest in peace to Kellen Lane when he used to say running backs are a dime a dozen. You're not going to get an Ashton Jonty in the 5th round. You're not. This guy here, you're going to have to top 10 pick. He's going to be a top 10 pick. And Cam Ward, I think of all the players on here, I think Cam Ward is I think he's the worst one out of all the players on here. So we'll see what happens. All of the awards. Travis Hunter is the first player to win a majority offensive award, the Maxwell Award, and then he won the Jim Thorpe.
No, he didn't get the Jim Thorpe.
Not the Jim Thorpe, or was it the Bolitnikoff? There's so many damn. It was the Maxwell and the Bolitnikoff, a top wide receiver and top.
Dion said that he would give him his.
Yeah. So. Like Meek Mill says, whatever you do, there's always levels to this. Every week, the Alphabets Football Show, we bring you, the leaders and statistical, our power rankings and things like that.
But before we go too far into it, we got it. Look, got to show love to Chase. I'm gonna tell you something. This cat in college was phenomenal, and of course, he's back playing with his college quarterback now. These two guys, this offense, I think losing the running back.
Mixon.
When they lost Nixon, I think that kind of hurt this offense a little bit. I think if they had Nixon and at least a middle of the road defense, this team would be in the damn playoffs. No ifs, ands, buts about it. Maybe vying for the number 1 seed. The defense is what's killing this team. I heard somebody say the other day, Burrow, he's just lost it. And I'm like, what the hell are you talking about?
He's leading the league in everything, passing wise.
Every stat right now.
Passing wise.
Even if even though they're not going to the playoffs.
No.
I still think you have to keep him in mind for MVP as well.
Yeah, I mean, if you're going to throw Saquon in there,
what he's facing.
Yeah. I mean,
it's not like he has a defense helping getting the ball back for him to throw more damn passes.
Yeah.
Because if you had a damn defense that was doing that, shit, there wouldn't be nobody even close to what Joe Burrow's doing.
Yeah, it's just sad. But it just goes to show you. Now, I've asked you this before, Mon, and I want to hear what everybody has to say in the comment section.
What's that?
If you had a choice between Jamar Chase or Justin Jefferson, who you taking? I asked you this. You told me before, but I like to check back with people and see, and I want to know what everybody in the audience thinks too. If you had a choice between Chase or Jefferson, who you taking?
Look, I love Chase. I think he is the second best receiver in the league right now.
Yeah.
I think if you put Justin Jefferson on the Kansas City Chiefs and Chase was on the Vikings,
you mean on the Bengals, not the Chiefs?
No.
Okay.
Justin Jefferson in Chase's place, and you take Chase and put him on the Vikings.
That's what I said. You said the Chiefs. You meant the Bengals, right?
Okay. I didn't think I said Chiefs. Anyway, if you switch these two receivers and you give him Joe Burrow to catch the ball from, I think Joe Burrow's numbers or Justin Jefferson's number, I think he's a better catcher of the football. I think he goes up and I think he's a better fighter of the football. Catching, I will never forget what he did to Buffalo in that one game.
Okay.
The catches he made, everyone just contested catches, and he was catching them, and he just made those corners look like they'd never played.
I agree with you with that, but I think that the advantage that Chase has is he can take a slant turn up field and outrun everybody. And I've seen him do it. And the man has had two.
And I agree with you. I think he's faster.
But speed for a receiver and a running back, by the way, I can do more. There's not as much meat left in the moment because I can take this little thing instead of that 3-yard gain or that 5-yard gain, like certain running backs or certain wide receivers. If you need 3 yards, I can get you 3 yards. If you need 3 yards with Chase, I can get you 70 yards. You have a running back like that, 3 yards in the college. If you need 5 yards, he'll get you 5 yards.
Can you see the comments?
I can't put them up there.
I
think Chase is more explosive. I think he turns up the field. I tell people all the time about speed for a football player. Well, but speed, and that's not the only element because you had a lot of players that James Jett was fast. Willie Gault was fast.
We have Dwayne says Chase. Travis Henry says Chase hands down.
It's just, his explosiveness. Now, if you're talking about a high point, it was always Chase over. He can take something. What makes Tyreek Hill so dangerous? Speed. When he takes a little screen and turns up field and outruns everybody down the field and throws up the deuces. I'd rather have a guy like that. I'd rather have a guy like that at running back too. You see what Saquon Barkley's doing at the running back position. This is the debate I've had with people. I'm like, when you have a guy, look, having power is great, but then you have people that have speed and power. They turn up the field, and you see like with Saquon too. He turns up the field, and then you think he's going to get a 3-yard gain, and then he outruns everybody down the field. I like players like that. So for me, it's Chase. Easily, and that puts him a little. And that's not the
Jettis over Chase all day.
Jettis. Okay, I don't know. Why do we like Tyreek Hill so much? Because he's a home run threat. Every time he touches the ball, you are terrified.
Well, but now, if you were going to choose Jettis or Tyreek Hill, which one would you take?
I'm taking Chase because also.
No, I said Jettis.
Who me?
Taking Justin Jefferson or
I'm taking Jettis, one because of the age factor,
right,
and because I just think that with Jettis, he's just such a silky smooth route runner. I love his And
I agree with Ace right here with what he just typed right
there. I would love to see what their 40 time is. Like I've seen, has Jettis ever had a 200-yard receiving game? Anybody? A 200-yard receiving game? Do you know how hard for a wide receiver? Didn't he have like a 200? I've seen Chase have like 250, 260 yards receiving. Because every time he touches the ball, yes, Jefferson, he has 100-yard game. There's a difference between a 100-yard game and a 200-yard game. And I've seen Chase do it several times. So, it's a flavor, what do you like better? Are you a chocolate guy or you're a vanilla guy? Or are you a swirl guy? You like both?
And I don't even agree with that. I don't agree with that.
What's that?
No. Because I have seen Justin Jefferson just shag defensive backs and just get open and just.
Have you ever seen him outrun the entire defense? Put his foot in the dirt. I've seen Chase take a 5-yard slant, turn upfield, and outrun everybody down the field. I don't know if I've ever seen Jettis do that.
I was watching that game. When that happened, and I seen that.
He just
have to take into account the defense you're playing against.
I agree, but we've seen this like a whole. But look, Jettis plays in the. What division is better, the NFC North or the AFC North?
He loved Eddie Lacy at running back until Eddie Lacy ate himself out of the NFL.
I did. I told you I'm an unapologetic sizist. You have racists and sexists. When it comes to football players,
you know who said it, right?
Yeah, of course. He used to get back. You just like, I don't like small running backs. I don't. I don't like the small running back. Power rankings. Here's your power rankings. You know, this changes every week. Lions jumped up there. They've been number one for a few weeks. You got this week with the games we have, and we're about to make our predictions here in a little bit. Bills, Lions, Steelers, Eagles. We're going to get a lot of clarity. And I think you're also going to get some clarity with the MVP. I will say this, and Mona, I don't know if you'll agree with this. Right. If Josh Allen goes out and he plays lights out versus the Lions,
win or lose, if he plays lights out.
If he plays lights out against the Lions, win or lose, he can seal up the MVP this week. But if he goes out and he has a 9 for 30 game, and you've lost to the Ravens, and you've lost to the Texans, and you would have lost to the Lions, and you lost to the Rams. Every one of the top contending teams that you got a chance to face and play against, you played like crap. I'm not saying that he will or won't. I'm saying though, if you go out and you play outstanding, and you have 250 yards, 250 yards and 70 yards rushing, and throw 2 or 3 touchdowns, you can seal up the MVP this week, and you also can lose it. Because on the other hand, not saying it'll happen. If Saquon Barkley, I'm not saying it will happen. Saquon Barkley goes out and runs through this Pittsburgh Steelers defense, I'm not saying that he will. I'm just saying, I'm giving hypothetical situations. Saquon Barkley will be the MVP. This is a huge week. This is a huge. If Josh Allen plays like crap in this game, like he did against the Ravens, he can lose it this week, or he can win it. And I want this on wax, so y'all say, "Oh, Marcus, you said." I'm saying if he plays outstanding this week, he can seal up the MVP. I don't think anything else would matter towards the end.
There's no Allen hate. I don't know where you're getting that from, because I'm going to tell you something. That's all he's talked about all year long.
How is that Allen hate? I'm saying if he wins, if he goes out and plays well this week, how is that hating? You hear what you want to hear. If he goes out and plays well this week, win or lose, he can win the MVP this week. If he goes out and plays like shit, like he did against the Ravens, like he did against the Texans, he can lose the MVP. On the other hand, if Saquon Barkley, not saying that he will or won't, if Saquon Barkley were to have 150, 160 yards against the Steelers defense,
that ain't happening.
I'm not saying it will, but if it were to happen, Saquon Barkley would jump to the front. So this week is huge. It is huge. It's huge for playoff implications.
I'm gonna say it this way: if Allen goes out and has a shit game, Barkley don't even have to have 65, 70 yards and a touchdown against Pittsburgh, and I think that may even would put him in the front running.
Yeah, I'm not. I
don't see that happening. I do not see that happening. I think the game that you saw versus the Rams.
We'll make our picks here in a minute.
The best damn games I think I've ever seen Josh Allen play.
He played better in that game than he played in the 13 seconds game. I thought the 13 seconds game is the best game I've ever seen him play, where he just literally took over the game and it was just like Josh Allen did everything that he could to win that game. Everything humanly possible to win that game. I don't put that game on him against the Rams. I don't put the 13 seconds game on against him. Yep, but quarterbacks are judged by wins and losses, and also by your opponent. You cannot see me like I'm the elite best player, and then you go out and when you're playing the other elite teams, the Ravens, the Texans, or a playoff caliber team like the Rams, and then you look like crap. And he didn't look like crap against the Rams. But you got another chance right now. You are 2-3 versus playoff caliber teams, and that's your record right now. So we'll see what happens. Ravens, they dropped. Kansas City, they got one loss and they're at 4. Because it's there is the narrative that they're winning games by the skin of their teeth. There is that narrative.
There was a narrative. There was a narrative all year last year.
Yeah.
Most drop passes in the NFL all season, and they won a damn Super Bowl. So
Yeah. So we'll see what happens. So here's your power rankings here, and then of course you got the Giants down there at the bottom. So if the playoffs started today, let me see here. The Bills would host the Ravens at the number 2 seed.
no, the Broncos, the Bills will hold.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sitting over here. I need my damn contacts here. The Bills would host the Broncos. Your Steelers would host the Chargers, Mona. The Texans would host the Ravens, and Kansas City would have the bye week. On the NFC side, the Lions would have the bye week. The Eagles would host the Commanders. The Seahawks would host the Packers, and the Bucks would host the Vikings. So again, this changes every week. Well, I think last week y'all would have hosted theRavens. So it changed every. And next week it'll change too, depending on these games that we just talked about. Because if not saying that it will, if the Bills were to lose and the Steelers were to win, you all would be the number 2 seed.
Yep.
And the Bills would be the number 3 seed. Because now the Chiefs got a 2-game lead on both of y'all with 3 games left. If the Chiefs win another game, they pretty much got the number 1 seed locked up. So we'll see what happens. Because the Bills do have the tiebreaker over.
There's more than 3 games left.
No, it's not. We're in week 15.
We play the Eagles this weekend. We play the Ravens next weekking.
4 games left. That's right. The bye week.
The Eagles.
Yeah, the bye week. You're right. So there's your playoff picture there. There's a lot of stuff that can change. Here's your statistical leaders. We talked earlier about Joe Burrow. The front office they've failed him. They have failed him. Just doing great work, and it's just like I put something up the other day. If they had a winning record, or at least a decent record, who's doing more than Joe Burrow? I mean, Josh Allen, he's doing a lot, but I mean, he's leading the league in passing yards, leading the league in touchdowns, leading the league in QBR, yards per throw. I mean, he's just doing everything. It's just the defense. They have a historically bad defense, man. Their defense is terrible. Geno Smith, playing good ball up there with Seahawks. Kirk Cousins, I don't give a damn. I think that, it's not translating to wins. If I would like to know what Travis Henry thinks about this, because he's a big time Falcons fan. I would play the kid, Penix. I would. That kid, you drafted him the number 8 pick, play him. Baker Mayfield, with the resurrection of his career, found a new home, got his boy back, Mike Evans, and he's balling out. And then Matthew Stafford, the old grizzled vet, you see him, he's got his weapons back. He's got Puka back. He's got Cooper Kupp back. And then you got a nice little running game over there. He's doing his thing. We just talked about Chase probably winning the Triple Crown. We just talked about Chase and Jefferson. They're 1-2. CeeDee Lamb, I think considering, losing your starting quarterback, you're out there with a backup quarterback. You don't really have a number 2. They're just force feeding him the ball. Jerry Jeudy. He might have, a lot of people thought he was a bust. Him and Lamb were in the same draft with Henry Ruggs, who went was the first wide receiver taken, and he's seemed to have a little rapport, got a little thing going on with Jameis, and then Brock Bowers, the super rookie. Just too bad for him. He plays a position that people don't really respect. I think it's a 2-man race between Jaden Daniels and Bo Nix, but we got to give Brock Bowers his props, man. He's playing great ball. Saquon Barkley running away with the rush. Before it was kind of like back and forth. I think he's running away with that. Has an opportunity to break Eric Dickerson's 40-year rushing record.
Can I make a comment about that?
Go ahead.
I'm going to say it. And I don't care what anybody says.
Okay.
What division did Derrick Henry play in? prior to going to the AFC North.
AFC South.
Now, I made a comment
Okay.
earlier in the season, actually before the season started,
Okay.
and I said he is going from the AFC South into the black and blue division of the AFC North.
Okay.
He's not going to be that running back that the stud running back he was in the AFC South.
So a third. Okay, so make this make sense. A
Well,
30-year-old running back. A 30-year-old.
I'm
Wait.
getting ready to make
Okay.
it make sense.
Okay.
Any other division, if he went into, I think he would probably be leading in rushing yards. But because he is playing against the AFC North division, with two stellar defenses in that division, well, three. We can even say three because Cleveland Browns defense. Well, he ain't playing against Baltimore, so because he plays for them, but
Yeah.
in the Steelers defense.
Mhm.
I said he would do well, but he didn't do well against Cleveland. He didn't do well. He did okay. I mean, he had like 65 yards against Pittsburgh and a touchdown. I give you that. But I tried to tell everybody it wasn't going to be as sugar-coated as everybody thought it was going to be with him playing with that awesome Baltimore Ravens offense.
Okay, and see, this is where we kind of part ways, because if you're going to make that argument, and see, but I gotta fight you on this in a good way.
Okay.
You could say the same thing when you're saying, "Oh, he played in a weak division. He played in a." Okay, so when Ben Roethlisberger was winning all of those, he was doing all of that winning. Okay, he was doing all of that winning. How good was the AFC North overall, the whole division? Because
they weren't. But the biggest issue that Big Ben ran into was the New England Patriots.
Okay, but that's what. I got you. But the argument that you're making is
because the New England Patriots fucking division was so bad.
Okay, and Ben Roethlisberger,
they had it sewed up for number one seed sewed up every year.
That's true. But who was Ben Roethlisberger playing in the AFC North when he was? What was his record? He was like 35 and
still playing that Baltimore defense.
Okay, that's one team.
You have to play that Baltimore defense, and
that's one team. That's one team.
Defense.
That's okay. That's one team. I'm talking about overall teams. Who were the quarterbacks that he was playing against? The Cleveland Browns. We know about their quarterback history, right? And you're playing against Andy Dalton, and you're playing against.
Well, we played against. He played against Joe Burrow.
He played against Joe Burrow for a year.
Yeah.
He played against Joe Burrow for it. I'm saying in his heyday, if you're going to use that argument, Ben Roethlisberger was playing against an expansion Cleveland Browns team.
Right.
Okay? Because they came back into the league in '99. Ben got drafted.
I get what you're doing, and I see what you're doing. But
I'm just saying
what I am saying is Derrick Henry's towards the end of his career.
Yeah.
We know this.
Yeah.
We know running backs don't last that long in the NFL. And I said when he came out of the AFC South into the AFC North, I don't know that his career goes as long as it would have.
Okay, and again, there's lots of guys that play. You can make the same argument for Adrian Peterson playing in the NFC North when he was running up and down the field.
Yep,
playing against the Lions. I can't help where I get drafted at. All you can do is when you play against inferior teams, you show up. You show up against them. The man has, I don't know how many carries that most running backs, if they had that many carries, they don't. Most running backs by the time, Derrick Henry's older than Zeke.
Yep.
He's older than Zeke. And who would you rather have right now?
Oh, I'm
you know what I'm saying?
So Dallas ran him into the damn ground.
Okay, and the Tennessee Titans ran Derrick Henry into the ground. But the thing about it is you got some guys that are different cats. We just talked about Justin Jefferson and Jamar Chase, they're different cats. When you look at these other wide receivers, they're just different. You have some people that are different. They are, what I call unicorns. Derrick Henry, I don't care where he played in the SEC. He played in the SEC. He got a bunch of carries in the SEC.
I know exactly where he played.
Well, I'm just saying. So you take all of those carries because he got a lot of carries just like Zeke did in college, right? He got a bunch of carries. He was the main man on a team that had a bunch of other good wide receivers. So he gets a bunch of carries in college. He gets a bunch of carries in with the Titans, and he's 30 years old. And guys that he came into the league with, he's playing longer than them. I think that says a lot about his durability. And for running backs, your durability is a lot. That has a lot to Speaking of another,
I'm trying to look that for you, Ace.
Alabama backs.
You take that 678 yards that Lamar Jackson's got this year.
Yeah.
If he didn't have that type of a quarterback that runs the ball, he'd probably have more yards.
That's what I'm saying. He's taking some of those.
Or would he be hurt by now?
Well, I mean, Lamar's still leading the league in rushing for quarterbacks. There's no other. I know he's leading the league for rushing. Look, the Ravens are like the Lions, but here's the difference. You got a 1-2 punch with Gibbs and Montgomery. The Ravens are the same, except their number 2 running back is their quarterback. You know what I'm saying?
Probably having the biggest issue with Baltimore is their defense is not the same.
They're not.
They're not. And I've said it all year. They're
not. They're not. They need to this offseason. They need to and if they get bounced early in the playoffs, which is a very distinct possibility, that would be the reason why. And then last down there with the rushing, damn, they're 3 yards apart. Wow. Kyron Williams, we got to start. We got to see. He showed out last night in that against the 49ers. He's one of those guys that kind of sneaks under the radar. They got a nice little 1-2 punch over there. I'd like to see them get Blake Corum a few more carries over there. But so there's your top 5 on the offensive side. Jumping over to the defensive stats here because my co-host loves defense.
Yes, I do.
Loves defense. Here's your interceptions leaders. Joseph. Him and Xavier McKinney. But McKinney must not have got some interceptions like weeks. So he's been sitting at like 7 for like a month. He's been sitting at like 7 for a month. Byron Murphy with 6.
I actually feel that way, Ace. That was the point I was trying to make. Going all around the stadium, I was trying to get to that point.
Yeah.
Would Henry be hurt if Lamar didn't run like he does?
Okay. Would
at his age, if he was playing with a quarterback who didn't rush like if he was playing for Russell Wilson?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. If we're gonna ask that question, would Saquon Barkley be hurt if he were still playing with the Giants? I mean, we're gonna ask questions like that. If he's playing with Tommy DeVito, would he be hurt right now? Well, I'm just saying we're gonna ask those questions.
How bad? But we all know Baltimore Ravens' offensive line is nowhere near as bad as what the Giants' line is. They got a quarterback who can't throw the fucking ball. So there's no comparison between those two teams. There's no comparison.
The New York Giants are going to have the number 1 pick.
We go back to do what?
The New York Giants are going to. We just talked about it. The New York Giants are going to.
But you're talking about if he was playing. If Saquon was playing for those guys now, okay?
Yes.
If you were okay, and those quarterbacks, then what Lamar Jackson has become.
Okay. If just real quick, if Saquon Barkley were still playing with the Giants this year, and you were playing against the New York Giants, what would you do? Would he be leading the league in rushing?
No, he wouldn't be.
Okay, that's the
because
point.
He doesn't have a quarterback who can open up the passing game, so the running game will work.
Okay, even when he had a guy like Eli Manning, he has never led the league in rushing ever. Ever.
Excuse me. When did he start playing? And when did Eli?
Barkley got drafted in 18. He got drafted in 18. He was in the same draft.
And that was pretty much at the end of Eli's career. Eli was
Okay,
the same quarterback.
okay, and he hit Daniel Jones too. Yeah, Daniel Jones too.
Are we gonna fucking talk about Daniel Jones?
I'm just saying if we're talking about and Derrick Henry played with Ryan Tannehill. Do you see what I'm saying? We're going to make these comparisons. We got to make fair comparisons. You're saying, well, if he played with this guy, okay, if Saquon
up until right before Derrick Henry left down there,
Ryan Tannehill's never
they
done
had
good
AJ
for
Brown. What was the other receiver they had?
Who, the Titans?
Yeah, the Titans.
I don't know if they've ever had a good wide receiver
They
besides
had AJ Brown, and they had
AJ Brown for a little bit. Yes,
I'm trying to think of the other receiver they had.
But when you played against the Tennessee Titans, what was your number one, number two, and number three priority?
Well, stopping the run, period.
Stopping Derrick Henry. Just that no one cared about Ryan Tannehill. Just like when you played against the Giants,
And
they would put
team wasn't able to stop Derrick Henry. Not all teams, but most teams couldn't stop Derrick Henry. There were a few teams that stopped him.
Okay, and look, your running stats may be well. We can stop the run. You know what? You know why we don't run on you? Because we can pass on you. Because your secondary sucks. Well, I'm not saying you per se. I'm just saying like
what I'm saying is then explain to me why didn't Baltimore? Because you got Lamar Jackson at quarterback who can throw the ball now. He's got some receivers. He's got Mark Andrews. He's got Derrick Henry. Why didn't they beat us?
Okay, why did you beat the Browns? Why did y'all beat the Browns with your all-world defense?
We were in a fucking blizzard.
Okay, why did you let the Cincinnati Bengals score 44 points with your all-world defense?
Well, we scored more than they did.
Though. Okay, but your defense, you have the best defense in the league. Do you see what I'm saying? Like there's those things. It's just sometimes the course of the game. Certain stuff happens.
Yes,
it doesn't take away from your greatness. Sometimes you just have bad weeks. There's some weeks. There's some weeks. My co-host has had 2 undefeated weeks in picks. You're not going to go 16-0 every week, right? Sometimes you have a week where you go, 9-7.
Week and forgot to even pick the Thursday night game. What are we talking about? I was busy. I mean, my son was getting ready to graduate the academy, and I just forgot to make the damn pick. I made the pick in Sports Cruise pick 'em league. I forgot to select anything.
For sure.
I love Hendrickson. I think he should be in Pittsburgh.
Well, I think a lot of people would love him. And then this kid Bonito just came out of the blue. Like I didn't really, I hadn't really heard of him. And then, Myles Garrett, of course, Danielle Hunter coming down from the Vikings, with 10.5. And they replaced him with Green. But then they drafted the kid from Alabama. Who was the badass from Alabama this past season? The edge rusher. I can't even think of his name. And I asked you if he was as good as Will Anderson Jr. I forget his name. But they drafted him. But this kid's leading. And then Will McDonald, with the Jets, they got so much talent. The quarterback position, Aaron Rodgers just fell off the map. So there's your defensive leaders there. What we got? What we got next?
My mouse is stuck. Hold on.
Mona, give me some Rocky Bauer players.
All right.
Rocky Bauer.
Our Rocky Bauer Tough Guy Award segment. Our defensive players of the week are Zach. Is that Sealer? S-E-I.
Sealer? I would say Sealer. Let's go with Sealer.
Okay. 4 tackles and 2 sacks for the Miami Dolphins, and we have, you what's his name?
Yetur Gross-Matos.
Yetur Gross-Matos.
Gross-Matos.
Right? Okay.
Yeah.
So 4 tackles and 3 sacks. So there's your defensive guys of the week for week 14. Offensive players of the week, we have Jamar Chase with 14 catches, 191 yards, and 2 receiving touchdowns. With the AFC and the NFC, we got Sam Darnold. Imagine that. 78.6 completion percentage rate, 347 passing yards, 5 passing touchdowns with a 157.9 passer rating. I
will say this though, if the if the Bills win that game against the Rams, Josh Allen wins the offensive. He wins that award for the week. But he won it the week before, I think. I think he won it on that pass to himself that he caught against with Amari Cooper. He won it like the week before. He would have won it 2 straight weeks if he would have pulled that off.
I think what he done deserved AFC Player of the Week.
Yeah, I mean 6 touchdowns. I think he's the first player to ever do that.
That was phenomenal.
All world.
Special team player of the week are Matthew Wright. 13 points for
that game winner.
14 points for the Kansas City Chiefs.
Yeah, and the game winner.
Yeah,
Point. Point. They were just lucky. I know. I know.
And Brian Brees with the NFC Special Teams Player of the Week with 1 sack and a blocked game tying field goal attempt.
Outstanding. The kid, Wright, just filling in for
Buckner.
For Butker, that he's doing a pretty damn good job. I think he's going to make himself some money. Somebody somewhere is going to be looking for him next week.
Talk about the Thursday night game last night. Did everybody see that game? I mean, I did. I finished watching. I was actually cheering for the Rams to win because I've always loved Matthew Stafford, and I feel like he just deserves so much more than what he had when he was with the Detroit Lions. But anyway.
Yeah. Look, it was a snore fest, but there were some things that I saw in there. I think Jared Verse is your defensive rookie of the year front runner. And you saw some things. The helmet catch that Puka made. It reminded me of the David Tyree catch.
I was going to say the Tyree catching, yeah.
Yeah, it really. Puka, I really like him, and I like the kid Kyron Williams, and also I've been saying this, and I'm going to say it now. I'm going to piss off my 49ers fans. Brock Purdy looks all world. He's a good quarterback. I don't want him. I don't want it to be. Marcus said that Brock Purdy is trash. I'm not saying that, but what I did say was when you have the Monstars and you have 10 or 12 all pros, not Pro Bowlers, all pros. That means the best at their position. You look really good. And when your quarterback is making $900,000 a year as compared to a team that's paying their quarterback $55 to $60 million, it takes away with what you have and your depth. That's all that I was saying. And Deebo Samuel, when I've been telling people that Deebo Samuel is not an all-world wide receiver, he's a weapon that you can line up all over the place. That loss was really on him. That loss was kind of on him. I know it's a team game, but Brock Purdy hits him right in the hands for an open touchdown. He drops it. And also, I would be criminal for me not to mention this. Walking off the field in the middle of a game, and we saw this a couple of years ago, Antonio Brown, when your team needs you, and Dre Greenlaw, it was so nice to see him back, especially after the injuries he had, and for you to walk off the field in the middle of a game. If I'm a general, I'm not cutting him. People are like, just cut him. I'm not cutting him. I'm suspending his ass without pay for the next three or four games, however many that they got left. And I'm suspending his ass. You will never do that again. And then after that, I'm cutting your ass at the end of the season. If I'm a GM, I would never let this dude play again. That's the worst thing you can do. A lot of my life was in the military, and that would be the equivalent if we're in a fight and you in a firefight and you just get in the Humvee and drive off. That's what it was like. That's some cowardly chicken. That's a cowardly chicken shit move. And I'm trying not to curse too much because we're on YouTube, but that's a weak ass punk ass move, man. I hope he never gets to play again. Mona, you can take it whatever you may think. I hated that,
I didn't like it either.
That's weak. That's weak sauce, man. Weak sauce. So that was a Thursday night game last night. Not too much because and there was no touchdowns in the game. It was all field goals. So you could just see that. So that's it. We're ready for our picks. We're ready to make our picks. Big games here. Big, huge games. Okay, so we both went with the Rams for a Thursday night. So we're ready for our 1:00 games. Commanders at the New Orleans Saints. The New Orleans Saints have a new they have a new starting quarterback. I put it up in the group. I put the picture up there. That's a terrible picture. Jake Hayner is the new starting quarterback for the Saints. Somebody said you look like Zoolander. Commanders at Saints, Mona.
I'm taking the Commanders. I am taking the Commanders.
Marshawn Lattimore makes his debut. Former All-Pro cornerback Marshawn Lattimore, who the Saints traded to the Commanders. He's making his first start for the Commanders too.
I'm taking the Commanders. That game could get really ugly.
Mm-hmm.
Although we don't know nothing about this quarterback, so how the hell you game planning against a quarterback you don't know nothing about? Yeah. We've seen guys come off the bench that we've never seen play and just have phenomenal games.
That's true. I'm thinking that Marshawn Lattimore is licking his chops. So I think that
I'm going to say Commanders 31-18.
I'm going Commanders too. I think it's a blowout. I think Jaden Daniels, he played at LSU. He's basically going back home to his, Louisiana, 35-14. I'll give him 14 points. Chiefs at Brownies, Mona.
Look, just depends on which Jameis Winston shows up. I mean, defensively, I think they can, do some damage. I'm taking the Chiefs.
Okay.
I'm taking them by 1 point. Still go at the end of the game.
Is he going to boink too?
Sorry, Dwayne. I can't pick against Mahomes. To beat the man, you got to beat the man.
Got to.
I know how good the damn Browns defense is, and I know what they did to us in the Snowfest. Oh, wait a minute. It's in Cleveland, too.
It's in Cleveland, yeah. We might have some weather over there, too.
Well, Kansas City.
They're used to it, yeah. They're used to it.
They really don't bother any of them guys, I don't think. I don't know. I just...
Close game?
Ooh. I really want to take the Browns.
Every time I try to pick against the Chiefs, you remember at the end of RoboCop when he was trying to shoot the Dick Jones at the end, he couldn't do it. He was like trying to put it was like he had a program in there. Every time I do, it's like this program goes off. It's like, Marcus, you cannot pick against the Chiefs. You just can't do it.
21-20 Chiefs.
What's that?
21-20 Chiefs.
21-20 Chiefs. Okay. I'm going Chiefs too. I'm going to say 24-21. I think it's going to be close. I think the Jerry Jeudy's playing good ball. We just, showed the stats there. Jerry Jeudy.
And as long as, Jameis Winston doesn't have the day he has. And
Myles Garrett against whoever their left tackle is, or against Jawan Taylor, if he don't get like 5 illegal formations or false starts, I think they can make it a decent game. 24-21 Chiefs. Dolphins at Texans, Mona.
Skip the Bengals and Titans game.
I skipped the Bengals and Titans, Mona. Bengals at Tennessee. I'm sorry.
Look, Tennessee's actually not played some bad football this year.
Mm-hmm.
I know they're losing and stuff, but I'm still taking Cincinnati.
Yeah.
I think they're going to just blow them out. I think it's going to be like 38-12.
38-12. Yeah, it's just
Cincinnati probably out. Look, You ain't going to the fucking playoffs. Why play your damn starters? Put some of your backups in and see what they got.
Yeah.
I mean, I know look, you're not going to set their starters, especially last game of the season, because they're going to want to try and beat Pittsburgh and yeah.
If I'm Hendrickson, you're not sitting me because I'm trying to win a sack title, which will win me some more money. If I'm Jamar Chase, I'm not sitting because I'm trying to win the Triple Crown. If I'm Joe Burrow, I'm just like, I've missed a lot of games.
He's been put in at left tackle for this game.
Okay. I think Cincy gets back to being explosive, and I think you could see I think Jamar Chase really wants to. I think he really wants to put up some stats. I'm going to say 30 to 14.
Jamar Chase, right?
What's that?
You mean Jamar Chase, right?
What did I say?
Jamar
Chase. I'm sorry.
What's your score?
30-14. Dolphins at Texans, Mona.
Sorry, Jay. I've taken actually the Dolphins' last two games, and y'all won.
They've been playing good, but just a little too late. I just, the Bills have already won the division, and
but they're playing for a playoff position, right?
They're still in the hunt.
They're still in the hunt.
They're still in the hunt, but I just don't see how many. Look, you got the AFC West.
They're playing in Houston.
Yeah, you got the AFC West, who might send 3 teams.
Yeah.
When you look at the Chiefs, who've already won the division, Chiefs, Chargers, and Broncos, then you're going to probably send 2 from the AFC North, Steelers and Ravens. So it's a numbers game, It's really I don't know if the AFC.
I'm going to take the Texans. I'm going to say 24-21.
24-21. This yeah, they need to win this. I'm gonna go Texans too. They're trying to wrap up that AFC South, and they've been kind of inconsistent. I think it's gonna be a close game. I'm gonna say 28-27 Texans. It's just the Dolphins. They can just score a bunch of points.
Yep.
A bunch of points. Ravens at potentially number 1 overall pick Giants. Mona.
Oh.
Blowout special.
Yeah. If I'm Baltimore at the half when it's like 31-0, I'm sitting all my starters. I'm gonna put my backup quarterback in. I'm gonna let him do his thing.
Mm-hmm.
Derrick Henry, let him play because he's trying to win the rushing title this year. Over Barkley. I don't think it's going to happen.
Like 200 yards behind now. I don't know.
It's about 200 yards different. Yeah. But I'm taking Ravens for sure. Yeah. I think it's going to be like 38-0 by halftime.
This could get ugly real fast.
But like I said, I think they, Ravens, they're going to want to try and preserve some of their guys.
Yeah.
Give them another bye week. Basically.
I'm giving Justice Hill some more carries, and I'm letting Likely play a little bit more. I'm sitting Mark Andrews. I'm sitting Derrick Henry. I'm playing Justice Hill a little bit more.
I take a chance to get these guys hurt that you're going to need on the backside of the.
And maybe you put Deontay Johnson out there too. Maybe he gets to play this week. Since he got suspended for 1 week, he should be back this week. He got suspended.
I'm going to say total 44, because that's what I wrote down. I was going to say 41, but I wrote down 44 for some reason. So I'm going to say 44 to 6.
Yeah, I think the Ravens blow them out. If they get anything, the Giants, it'll be just mercy. They've got their 4 stringers at the end. I'm going to say 42 to I'll give them 10 points. I'm being very. This the season of giving. I'll give them 10 points. New York Jets at Jags at the Mac Jones Jags.
Shit, Lord. Good God. You know what? I'm going to go with the Jets.
Okay.
They're playing in Jacksonville, right?
Yes.
I'm going to go with the Jets. Because I just think the Jags are that bad.
Yeah, they're pretty terrible.
Jets 21, Jags 20.
21-20.
I don't even know. Well, all right.
I don't know if the Jags score that many. I'm going to say 17 to 10 Jets.
Okay.
17 to 10 Jets. Cowboys at Panthers, Mona.
I'm going to tell you something. Panthers are playing some pretty damn good football right now.
Yeah.
And Dallas has to come to the East Coast.
Mm-hmm. Without Overshown.
I'm taking Panthers. I didn't pick them in our pick'em league.
Okay.
I'm taking the Panthers. I think it's the highest the Panthers score this year. 31. I'm going to say, no, I ain't going with 31. 28. And I think Dallas still makes it the game. 28-24.
28-24. I'm also taking Carolina. 21-17 Carolina. Jumping over to the 4:25 games. Bucks at Chargers, Mona.
I had debated this one and debated this one and debated this one. Oh. And both of them, are in the hunt. Or no, Chargers are in, right?
They would be in right now, yes. And the Bucks, I think the Bucks are leading they're leading the South, I believe.
Yeah, I think you're right. Where's it at? It's in
Los Angeles.
The only thing I worry about is Herbert just don't have no weapons.
And McConkey's hurt.
Yeah. I'm gonna take the Bucks. I think I may have to go change that because I think I actually took the Chargers.
Okay.
But I didn't know McConkey was out either. I'm gonna take the Bucks in a close one. 24-21.
24-21. I'm taking the Bucks also. I don't think that the Chargers have enough firepower. I think that the Chargers defense will keep.
They got a good defense.
They do. I just think that they get worn out. Yeah, I just think that they get worn out. I'm going Bucks. 21-17 Bucks. I would stick with the same score from the other game. Colts at Broncos, Mona. Broncos coming off of their bye week. Ravens coming off of their bye week as well.
I'm taking the Broncos.
Okay.
Look, I think Bo Nix is doing great. I think that whole team is playing and firing all cylinders right now.
Happy belated birthday to Consuelo Romero. I saw it up in there about one of my Broncos enthusiasts, her and Melissa, and Autumn Amber too, my Broncos girls.
24-17 Broncos.
24-17. I'm also going Broncos. I think they put some licks on Anthony Richardson. 24-14 Broncos. Pats at Cardinals, Mona.
I'm taking the Cardinals.
They said that Jared Mayo is coaching for his job. He's only been there for 1 year.
Where?
Jared Mayo. He's only been there for 1 year with the Patriots. His first year since Belichick left.
I'm taking Cardinals. I'm going to say 28 20, 28-21.
I think this is a blowout here. I think Cardinals. I think the Cardinals are just too much. I'm going to say 28-12 Cards. The next two games to me are the games that
What was your score?
28-12. The next two games to me are the two games of the week. I'm looking for. I could skip over the rest of the week and just go to these the last three games actually. But these next two for me, they're the games of the week. Buffalo Bills at Detroit Lions. Mona.
I am taking the Lions.
Okay.
Remember what I actually. I don't know if the Bills defense can stop that running game.
Yeah.
I just and if you do,
then you got to deal with the Sun God. You got to deal with Laporta. You got to deal with Jameson Williams, speed. You got to deal with the defense.
I'm going to say 38-31.
I'm also taking the Lions. After what I saw last week, I don't think that the Buffalo Bills defense is as good as what people think that it is. I saw Kyron Williams run through them. I think that the Lions have maybe the best 1-2 punch in the game is at the running back position. They got two double-digit running backs. You got what they call them, Sonic and Knuckles. You got Thunder and Lightning. Montgomery pounds you into the ground, and then they put Gibbs out there. I don't think that the Bills can stop that. I just don't. And their defense is pretty good too. But I think Josh Allen will make a valiant effort. I think he'll make a valiant effort. But I think the Lions are just playing awesome ball. And it's in line. Detroit, I think that place is going to be jumping in that dome.
Yeah.
Let me see here. I'm going to say 30-27. 30-27 Lions. Steelers at Eagles. Maybe no George Pickens, no Dallas Goedert for the Eagles. Mona.
Oh. I'm taking my Steelers.
Okay.
I think it's going to be a close game. I'm going to say 24-21 Steelers. Because I think the defenses are going to do their jobs on both sides.
Yeah. I'm going Eagles here. It's in Philly.
Yep.
Dennis is gonna.
What was it?
What's that?
We ain't won there since what? 1964.
1965. And when I see some of the games that you all have lost, the Eagles do all of the things that you all seem to have had a problem with. And then just Saquon Barkley, I don't think he has 150 yards rushing, but I think he does enough. I could see, but Henry had 65. I could see Barkley getting 85 and a touchdown or two.
I'm giving him 75 and one touchdown.
And a touch. I also think it's a close game. I'm going to go with the same score with you, Mona, 24-21, but I'm going Eagles.
Okay.
Packers at Seattle. Mona.
I'm taking the Packers.
Packers. Over the 12s in Seattle.
Huh?
Over the 12s in Seattle.
What do you mean?
That's
the
the 12s. They call themselves the 12s at their stadium. The 12th
because
man.
of their elements.
The 12th man. Yeah, the
I don't
12th.
give a shit. Look what Green Bay plays in Wisconsin. I mean, you know, no, hell, no. I don't give a shit. I think the Packers. I think they swamp them.
Okay.
Like, I'm gonna say, what the hell was that score against the Detroit Lions? What was that score? Do you remember?
I don't.
I'm looking. All right, 34-31 is what Detroit beat the Packers.
Yeah.
Because I still say bad calls lost the Packers that game anyway. I'm taking Packers 38 to 20.
38-20 Pack. I'm also going Packers. I just think they want their get back from last week. I think they're going to be highly motivated this week. 30 to 24. I still think Geno puts up some numbers, him and DK Metcalf. Bears, Monday night Bears at Vikings, Mona.
I am taking the Vikings.
Okay. I'm playing against Sam Darnold this week in the playoffs for $500. I really need him not to have 5 touchdowns again this week. That would be very nice. He had 5 touchdowns.
I don't think he'll have no 5 touchdowns against the Bears defense, but
I really need that not to happen.
A lot just depends on how the Bears offense plays.
Yeah. 5 touchdowns would be very bad because I used Brock Purdy yesterday and he got me 4 points. So I really need Sam Darnold not to have 5 touchdowns or I will be in a lot of trouble.
Who was the other quarterbacks you have?
I had Anthony Richardson. I had Dak Prescott earlier in the year, but I lost him, so I had to cut.
Yeah. I'm gonna say Vikings. It's in Minnesota, right?
Yes.
Or is it?
I really need Sam Darnold not to have 5 touchdowns this week. You could have 2, but 5 would be very bad for me, considering Brock Purdy threw for like 80 yards yesterday.
I'm gonna say 24. Bears make it a game, of course. 24-21.
24-21. I'm also going Vikes. I really need Sam Darnold not to have 5 touchdowns this game. If you want to give Aaron Jones the ball a little bit more.
I gave him 4.
4 would be bad too. Can we stick to round 2? That would be very nice. Vikings 30 to
14 to whatever. Come on.
30-21. Just not 4 or 5 touchdowns, especially when Brock Purdy just got me 4 points. I don't need those kind of things.
To have 3 field goals or something.
Yeah, that 5 touchdowns would be very bad for me. Very bad. And then last game, 2 Monday night games. Falcons at Raiders. Mona.
Oh, I think this is where Falcons win a game.
And if you play bad in this game, if you start off bad in this game,
by halftime, put the kid in.
Put the kid in because you should have great stats in this game. You really should. Kyle Pitts, if you don't show off in this game, this should be kind of like a very where you want to show off. Kyle Pitts versus Brock Bowers. Because this was Kyle Pitts a few years ago. The new Wonder King tight end. If I'm Kyle Pitts, I'm like, y'all need to get me the ball, man.
28-17 Falcons.
28-17. Kirk Cousins, this is your last chance. 24 24-10 Falcons. The Raiders are terrible, man.
I had 28-10 and I changed it to 17 when you mentioned Brock Bowers because I thought, you know what, he's probably
He'll score. He'll probably score one. There's all the scores there, guys. Make sure y'all get y'all's picks in. We got a battle going on over the Alphabets Football Show Pick'ems League. Shout out to Gwen.
Smitty is running away with.
Well, I was trying to be nice. Well,
but I haven't pulled up because that's where I was getting my scores from.
Yeah.
And
I'm not.
Smitty is winning 152 and 56, and the next person closest to him is my son at 146.61.
Yeah.
Which I'm at 145.61 because I forgot to make a couple picks.
Where am I at?
You are
like
in
141, right?
141 and 68.
Okay. Yeah, I'm
You're 4 games back behind me.
Smitty's running away with it, man. In the next couple of weeks, he might have it all locked up.
Yeah, because I mean we don't go into the playoffs with this, so
yeah. Well, I'm still gonna do one. I'm giving y'all a heads up because of the way that ESPN runs it. We're gonna do a bracket like last year, but I'm giving y'all a heads up.
Like last year, I'm not playing. So
okay.
Because I think that was ridiculous because you had to make your picks all the way through your bracket, and I think that's stupid.
That's what people do with the Sweet 16.
I don't care what they do. Okay. I can make my own bracket and do a better damn job than what that shit was.
I think that's everything.
I hated that.
Didn't like it.
Do you know how many people we lost on the very first weekend?
Well, that's what I'm saying. That's why you got to think ahead. That's why you got to think ahead. The brackets you cannot be.
No, we were told. I didn't get to because we were told we could make our picks. And then the next week we could make our picks then. Yeah. And that wasn't true. You had to make your picks from the very beginning of the playoffs. Yeah. And so I was out the very first, and so was about 15 other people.
Yeah, it was great. I didn't know. That was my first time ever doing it like that because that's the way ESPN does it.
No, I won't do that. So.
We appreciate y'all, everybody who comes out and watches. Mona, give us some last words before we get out of here.
Thank you guys for showing support and always showing us support and being here for us, and even when we reschedule and what have you, we appreciate you guys more than you know. We don't do this for anything other than we just enjoy doing it. We're not doing it for money. We're just
and we show up, win, lose, or draw, even when our favorite teams lose. We don't go a month and hide out.
I didn't hide when we lost to the Browns.
For a month. Please forgive us while we grieve today. We don't do that. We show up. Appreciate everybody who comes out and watches, everybody who supports this, everybody who supports Coffee Talk, trying to do a little bit more content over there. If there's something that you want us to do, give us a heads up on it. We'll try to do that. You know, we're getting down to the nitty gritty. Get your Alphabets Football Show merch, 27 for short sleeve t-shirts. I'm really kind of getting away from that. Long t-shirts, 37, and hoodies, 52. If you don't get your hoodie order in, I can almost assure you will not get it before Christmas because I got to take it to the vendor and then I got to mail it during Christmas season. If you don't get it, it's probably too late to get it by Christmas now. Because what's the 13th? Friday the 13th. Christmas is in what 12 days. You won't get it before Christmas. I'll just say it up front. You won't get it, but you can still order it, and you'll probably get it like right after the Christmas, break or New Year's or whatever. So,
don't he say he's taking the Steelers and Tomlin we trust.
And Tomlin we trust for sure. But that's about it, man. I'm about to go eat something and eat some of my heart-shaped jerky. Y'all have a good one. Appreciate y'all. Much love to everybody. Y'all have a good night and enjoy the games and the Heisman Trophy presentation. See you.
Low, sundown, the sun up. All I want is the cash. Now, homie, run me the stash. Put them ones in the bag. Now count up, count up, count up.